everybody, it's me, the Great Gecko. In today's video, we're going to be going over the beginning of Splatoon, sort of the basics, and to get you familiar with the game. This will be the first of a 4-part series, and we will be going over other things in the future parts. This one will be going over, as I said, the basics. We will be learning about some of the weapons you should pick up early on, what the weapons do, and frontline support and backlining weapons, and some tips and tricks on those. I will also be giving some pointers and advice for having the best Splatoon 2 experience possible. Now, let's hop into the video. Here we are in the training room. The training room is a very basic area to practice your shots, and you can just practice against these targets. The way you can reach this area is by opening up your menu and clicking on a weapon to press test with Y. In this room, I will be showing off some of the weapons and some specials and some sub-weapons, which that also is like some crazy terminology for someone who doesn't know what's going on. So let's get into that right now. Now, the weapon I'm playing right now is a variant of the splatter shot. This weapon right here is basically just this weapon right here, and this is probably one of the first weapons you should pick up. You'll start out the game with the Splatter Shot Junior, which is kind of that square looking one that you have at the very beginning. Now, my first tip right now, I should give this right now, stick with motion controls. I know if you've played other shooter games, you're like, but sticks is where it's at. Not in this game. In this game, in order to excel, you need to have motion controls. Motion controls make everything so much easier, and it's very, very, very easy to aim. Continuing on, you will also want to find a proper setting for you. You can start out with sticks, but I'd recommend learning motion controls as fast as possible, as it just makes it way easier to understand and be able to hit your shots. Because you just be far more accurate, and you'll get the hang of like being jittery and stuff. You'll understand. Now, let's start. The first weapon I recommend picking up right off the bat is this one. The Splatter Shot is an all-around very good weapon. It has a 3-shot kill. It's got a decent range and a pretty good fire rate. It's one of the most commonly used Slayer weapons out there, and it's probably the one you'll see the most when you're playing. So if you can play it, you'll be good, and if you know how to counter it, you'll be even better. It's very difficult to actually do things against it because of that easy 3-shot it has, but it's a lot of fun to play, and it's one of the best for up front players who like to get in enemies' faces and have like a lot of fun playing this game. I recommend doing this one. Now, for number 2. The next weapon I recommend picking up isn't exactly like the Splatter Shot. It's called the NZAP. The NZAP has a faster fire rate, and it's a 4-shot kill instead. It's also a bit more of a support weapon than the Splatter Shot, where it's up in your face and killing everybody. This weapon normally has a kit such as this one here, which is Suction Bomb and Ink Armor. Ink Armor is one of the multiple specials in the game, where you activate it, and you will be filled up and protected from anything for a duration of time, or until this armor is broken by bombs. Anything that will deal damage to it will break the armor instead of killing you. It's really good, and it also goes to every single teammate that is currently alive while it's being activated, and it'll go to all of them, and they will all be protected as well. It's a very good weapon to pick up, as it's a very good support weapon, and you will be bouncing between support and Slayer normally, especially if you're playing League, which is just another mode. We'll get into that in a bit. You will be bouncing through support and Slayer depending on who you're playing with, I'm guessing. With this weapon, it's got a bit more range than the Splatter Shot, and it's got a faster fire rate. So this one is more of a personal preference on what you're feeling. Let's get into the third weapon you should probably try to pick up. Now, there will be a few people who will disagree with me on this one, but I'd recommend trying out the Roller. The Roller has a low skill floor but a high skill ceiling, which basically means you can do good with it if the first time you pick it up, but you can do amazing with it once you fully master this weapon. This weapon is a lot of fun to play, and if you can pick it up, it's very, very interesting. Now, I'll give some tips. I'm not the biggest Roller player, but I'll give some tips on understanding the weapon. This is one of Splatoon's most unique weapons in terms of its firing, as if you press B and then swing, you'll get a vertical swing that has a lot more range than if you just normally tap ZR, where it'll just do a horizontal flick and it's just a wider range. And if you hold down ZR, you will also start rolling on the floor, which will cover turf and one-shot players. The roller has potential to one-shot, but at certain distances, it's not useful. It's very fun to play though, and if you can learn how to play it, you'll be a true menace in the game. Now, we'll get into some other weapons that you should play once you've sort of figured out these ones. Though these will include some backliners and some more Slayer, as there's a lot of Slayer in this game, and honestly, a Slayer is a lot of fun. I'd recommend trying it out at least once. Now for the first weapon I'd recommend picking up, it would be the Splash-O-Matic. The Splash-O-Matic is a very versatile weapon when it comes to slaying and turfing. It's got an insanely fast fire rate, and it's a lot of fun to play. It has a lot of potential, especially if you're using main power-up, which fuels its killing potential. In addition, you get Burst Bomb as one of your sub-weapons. Every single weapon in the game has a sub-weapon and a special weapon. This one's got Burst Bombs. Burst Bombs can 2-tap enemies. With this weapon, it also has it has a very interesting special, which is the Suction Bomb. It launches out multiple suction bombs that are very, very powerful, it's probably one of the most powerful sub-weapons in the game. I mean, it deals the most damage, but it also chugs ink. That's why this one is so good, because it uses it for free, and it also completely fills up your ink tank. I'd also recommend possibly experimenting with gear. This one does really good with swim speed and other fun abilities. There's a whole video I have on abilities and everything they do. I also have a video on how to get that gear. Those will all be linked in the description, and there will be like a little iCard in the corner. Let's get on the second weapon you should probably pick up. Here is another weapon I'd recommend picking up pretty soon, once you can actually get your hands on it, as you unlock weapons on it once you're a higher level. But this is the Hydra Splatling. It's one of the backlining weapons in the game, but is a true threat out there. Now, backlining is not meant for everyone, so if you don't think this will be your sort of playstyle, then do not pick it up. But it's a weapon I'd recommend picking up if you like being in the back and supporting everybody on your team. You'll basically be carrying your teammates. It's a very high pressure task, but it's a lot of fun, and I'd recommend trying it out. You could definitely do really well with it, and it's very, very dangerous. This one is a very interesting weapon, as there's other Splatlings, not just this one. There are other ones with faster fire rates and all that. But this one's also got a special of Splashdown, which is very interesting, as it's one of the other specials in the game where you basically nuke everybody in a vicinity. It's a lot of fun, this special, but be warned, you can be cancelled while you're in your Splashdown, and your Splashdown will just be instantly deleted, and you will get your points back a bit. Now, here's probably the most important weapon you're going to want to pick up early on if you enjoy being a Slayer, yet supportive player, and kind of like a mix between. This is the 52 Gal, Kenza Edition. Now, there's other variants in the game, such as every weapon has different variants. There is the standard one, then there's normally the Gecko, or there's different variants that all have different kits. They basically function the exact same. This is probably the better 52 Gal, depending on your playstyle. Now, what makes the 52 Gal so special? It's the fact that it can 2-tap. It can kill players in 2 taps. That's what I was trying to show off. But there's a little bit of a drawback here. It has a lot of RNG, and if you're jumping, you basically have 0 chance of hitting your opponent. That was a terrible example. Oh my goodness. My RNG is on point right now. But if you're jumping, you're gonna barely hit that guy. And it chugs ink, so you're gonna need to learn, and there'll be a balance you will find between it. But once you figure this out, you can be a true menace on the battlefield. For this weapon, I'd recommend probably stacking a little bit of main saver, bit of ink recovery up, quick respawn if you're gonna be pushing up front and not getting kills if you notice you're not killing enough. And what else? Special charge up because of its Booyah Bomb, which is one of the specials. Now let's get into some of the basics of the game. We went over some weapons you should pick up, but you still might not know nothing. So let's get into some of the very, very basics. Alright. Alright, so you just got the game, you just watched this video, and you were overwhelmed with information. Now, let's explain some things. In this game, you are a squid, and you're a kid. In your squid form, you can swim through ink, and this will regenerate your ink a lot faster than when you're in kid form. Now, there are abilities that will help against this, but we will get into that later. In this game, your goal is to turf the floor as fast as possible. You will try your best to get as much turf as possible, but the thing is, there will be an enemy team that will also be turfing over your turf and making it a very difficult task to try to win. Your goal is to be turfing over their turf and getting kills. You will be forcing your opponents into like different locations, and you'll be going through multiple different like encounters where you'll be throwing out bombs and doing these other things to help your teammates in pushing for victory. Now, if you see here, my hair is all bubbly, and up in the top right corner, there's like the thing going off. That means my special is ready. In the game, every weapon has a special and a sub-weapon. A sub-weapon is normally a bomb. There are a few different bombs, but the most basic ones that you'll encounter are auto bombs, splat bombs, suction bombs, and burst bombs. Suction bombs stick to walls, and they will explode, dealing massive amounts of damage. Splat bombs roll over and explode. Auto bombs, you throw it down and it'll chase after an opponent and then blow up right in their face. There are also burst bombs, which are like the moment they come into contact with something, they explode. Now, to activate your special, you'll press down on the R stick as it says, and you will activate your special. This is special as Ink Armor. Ink Armor goes around to everybody, as I said, and it's very good for a supportive build and very, very helpful. Now, what else do you do? If you're trying to figure out how much farther your special is, you can look in the right corner, and how fast you turf will determine how much special you get. It's very, very, very fun. This game is very interesting, and once you sort of master the mechanics, you will have a lot of fun. Now, there are a few other things we should probably point out, and that is super jumping. Super jumping is probably one of the more important things in the game, and once you learn how to do it, it's very, very powerful. Now, I don't have any teammates here, but you can always super jump to teammates, and you can super jump back to spawn. There's also things called beacons. This is what we call a beacon. Beacons allow you to super jump to them from any distance from wherever you are on the map. Super jumping is basically a massive boost into the air. So like, let's say I want to go from here, but I'm all the way over here, and I'm in the middle of a fight, and I need to get out of there real quick. If I go here and find that beacon and press A, I'll jump to it. This is for everything. So I'll give another quick tutorial on how to do it. You press X, open up your map, move around to find the beacon, and press A, and you will jump to it and land on it. Now, if it's someone else's beacon, it won't be destroyed instantly unless it's already been used multiple times, but since I'm the beacon creator, it will be broken instantly. That's just one of the effects in the game. Now, there are these weapons I'm using right now are called dualies. They're another aspect. They can go to turret mode, and they're very, very fun to use. These are the cleared apple, not the cleared apple dualies, these are just called the dapple dualies. They're very fun, but you don't unlock them till a bit later. Now, you just started the game, you sort of got the hang of it, but you kind of want money. What are some tips and tricks I can give you on that? Well, let's hop into those right now. So, you got in, you're doing your thing, doing your business, going around, but you're kind of broke, you need a little bit of money. Turf War isn't cutting it for you anymore. Well, then I'd recommend either going to here, this thing, which we like to call the Octo Canyon. Octo Canyon is the story mode of this game. It's basically a tutorial for the first few levels, and then it gets interesting, and it also engages you with different sort of aspects of the game. It's kind of, in some aspects it's difficult, but if you've played the game before, it's really not that hard. But it's a lot of fun, and it's really good to sort of get the hang of the game and understand what you're doing. It'll explain how to enter squid form, so if you're really confused and struggling, I'd recommend going in here. Not only can you get a lot of good things from here, you can get some of this like gold and like this little salmon fishy things. This will explain the tutorial, but in the future, once you unlock other things, you'll be able to reset upgrades and trade power eggs for like cash tickets and stuff. So if you're really into the story mode, just play through it and you'll unlock that stuff. Now, there's another place that you'll probably want to go, and that is Gecko. Gecko has some of the best stuff you can get. It's only open at select times though, which is kind of a bummer. Now, if you go all the way over here, it'll be back in this corner, right around here. You will go over here, and you will find Gecko. You will go through multiple games, you'll learn the tutorial, it'll give you the tutorial out of 2 games, and then you will come over here at the end to ask for your bonuses, and with that, you will make a lot of money, depending on your super bonus. So if we hop in here right now, we're not going to do a game, but I'll explain what it is, and what it does. For some reason, I don't have internet. If you go to menu, you will see that you have this sort of like very crazy board. Now I'm a professional, but you'll be on a lower level initially and you won't gain as much, but just keep going and you will start gaining a lot more points. It's not very worth it in the beginning, but once you reach professional, you get like, if you win a game, you get like a bonus every time. So just keep grinding it out with like some friends or just like going by yourself and you'll make it. Now every couple of days it'll come in and you'll get a daily super bonus. Now the super bonus can be from cash, ability chunks, food tickets, and drink tickets. Food tickets and drink tickets are very, very important, and I would recommend playing even if you don't have cash, because if those are there, those are really good. You also get a piece of gear every single time that's guaranteed 3-star, and it normally has abilities on it, so it's pretty good for scrubbing once you have a lot of money. That's pretty much all it is, and Gecko is a lot of fun and very, very interesting, and I definitely recommend picking it up as soon as possible and really understanding it. Another tip is that you'll get different weapons every single time. Green question marks mean it's a random weapon. Golden question marks are Grisco weapons, which are very, very fun, and you won't know what you get, so it's very, very fun, and I love playing with Grisco weapons. It's also basically free points because it makes the games so much easier, so definitely pay attention for those. If you don't already have the Nintendo app installed, you might as well install it because you can check for when a seminar is open and what the weapons in rotation are. Now, what to do with those drink tickets and food tickets you'll get. So you just got some crazy food tickets, some crazy amounts of drug tickets, and you're like, well, now what do I do with them? It told you to go to Krusty Sean, but who the heck is that guy? Well, it's this fella right here. This guy is amazing. He gives you gold. You get those tickets, and you can purchase this. So now every time you join into a game, you can get 150% boost in your cash, which is insane if you're playing ranked and all of those great things. So definitely, if you're about to hop into a mega grind sesh, get one of these going and you'll make tons of money. There's also XP variants, which will increase your XP gain, because XP in this game gets brutal once you reach level 50. You need to get about 100,000 every single time. Now, if you press X, though, this is where it gets really interesting. You'll be open to this menu full of drinks. Now, each of these drinks increase the chance of getting an ability. In the top right corner, you can see how this ability sort of switches every single time. Now, this means this is the gear that the company and this drink both relate to very well. So if you're wearing like a Tech set of gear, you'll have an increased chance of getting ink recovery up with that increased in chance already of ink recovery up. So you're basically guaranteed to get ink recovery up if you have Tech. Now there's a bunch of different abilities, and I've already done a video on what they do. So just go watch that one, and you'll be filled in. But if you have any questions, let me know, and I will be glad to fill you in on those. So you just got a metric ton of money, right? You just grinded out aggressively. You played until you couldn't see anything, and you didn't even sleep at all. Now you got this money. You're probably like level 15 now. You got some good money. You're willing to spend it, right? Now go to the shop. These shops have different gear, and I'd recommend picking up the 3-star stuff. Now there's a 3-star right by the ability area, and you can tell why it's 3-star because there's 3 question marks at the bottom. What the question marks mean, just they don't have a defined ability yet. None of this gear you'll buy here has a defined ability. You play games and you'll sort of build that meter up, and soon enough you will unlock an ability. It's randomized between all the different abilities in the game, but with a drink ticket, it increases the chance of you getting one specific ability. I'd recommend picking up as much of the 4-star gear as possible. Do not buy stuff that you won't be using often, like sub power up. I don't normally use a lot of sub power up, or I don't normally use my subs in excessive amount. So I wouldn't recommend buying something because they are quite expensive, and I'd recommend saving your money for gear that you think you could afford. 2-star gear isn't terrible either, but don't ever really go for the 1-star gear. It's not worth it early game. Here's your weapon storage. This is where you can get all these different weapons. So normally just pick out the weapons that I said, or weapons you're feeling like you want to try out. You can always test a weapon before you buy it by just by pressing Y. It's right there at the bottom. There's also shoes, and you can buy all of these. So those are what you're going to be looking for. Now, I have some tips on getting XP, and that would be playing ranked. Once you reach level 10, you will unlock ranked. Ranked mode is very, very interesting, as it's got 4 different modes that you can go through. This mode currently is Clam Blitz. There's also Tower Control, Splat Zones, and Rainmaker. We will be getting into the ranked modes in the next video, so just stay tuned for that. But if you're really desperate, ask a question in the comments, and I will be down to help you out and explain it. You have to reach B minus, I believe, in any ranked mode before you unlock league battles. But once you unlock league battles, you can go into you can go play with a group of friends. So like here, you can play with a team or a pair. So play with these guys, and you'll get the same XP that you get normally with with your friends in a ranked game, in a ranked setting as well, without having the risk of losing your rank, which is very nice. And it's a lot of fun to just like get on a group, like on a call with a group of friends, and feel free to like just play. Which reminds me, if you're new to the game, you might not have a lot of friends. Now, if you have Discord, I have a Discord, and there's a few people on there who would be down to play with you. So just if you want to join the Discord, there'll be a link in the description. Go join it, go chat it up with some people, and we will be down to help you. I might even join into one of your games as well. So feel free to do that. I'd love to see you there. And I also sometimes do League on Twitch, so go follow me there. Anyways, with the same shameless self-promotion out of the way, there's also Turf War. Basic stuff, 3-minute match, turf as much floor as you possibly can. Just go play some of that as well if you're feeling like a warm-up. I'd recommend about 3 games normally warming up before you go straight into ranked. Unless you're crazy, go straight into ranked. Do what you want to do. It's up to you. Now that is pretty much everything for the first video. You made it through, you learned some things, and if you're a little bit confused, feel free to ask a question. I will be there to help, and I hope this guide helped. There will be 3 more videos after this. The second one will be about ranked and tips and tricks in ranked. My controller just fell. Anyways, the next video will be about ranked and some more advanced tips and tricks on weaponry. My third video will be on gears, on like gear sets and salmon run strategies. And the final one will be advanced movement, advanced weapon tactics, and everything about that. So this will basically be follow these 4 videos and you'll soon become a Splatoon master. See you later, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you all in the next one.